So you're about, what, 8 minutes, 9 minutes out of, maybe 10 minutes out of working with him?
Time.
And what are you
So,
seeing?
You know, he walked away and I walked with him
Uh-huh.
because it wasn't like, and then I realized he walked away because he wanted to poop over there.
Right.
And I was like, okay, you're pooping. And then I gave him space and room, and he went to drink.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs to hydrate, get fluids back in his body.
Right, so he's peaceful.
And
he drank.
while he was drinking, he was farting. And
okay.
licking and chewing and yawning. And now he walked back over there and he peed.
Yeah.
So he's literally done virtually every release. The only thing he really hasn't done yet is a big head shake.
Okay.
Big body shake.
Okay.
He's gonna back up and scratch his butt. Maybe. But there he's looking and chewing more. So there's a lot processing through. And
so can you talk about that for a second, about the what is it, like the pause, right? Why is it so important, especially when we're working with animals, to not keep pressure? Like, why is the pause important?
so even when, and look how lowered his head is now.
Mm-hmm.
The pause, I mean, even when I'm interacting with him,
Uh-huh.
at a very low, everyone would say, well, below threshold.
Uh-huh.
Horse ain't blowing up. Horse can move away.
Uh-huh.
All of that, it's still a little bit higher level. And so when they're allowed to go and poop, drops down a little bit. They go and drink, they hydrate, drops down.
Mm-hmm.
They fart, it drops down. They pee, everything allows the body to, there's processing, rest and digest. You're resting, you're processing, you're releasing.
Uh-huh.
All kinds of things.
So
when you have a good poop, things are
moving,
unstuck, and they're moving like they're supposed to.
So why no halters? Why no ropes? Like, you're doing this at liberty, but it's also too a different kind of liberty. And he's starting to shake his head a little bit, which is interesting. Yeah. He's lowering it and he's releasing something.
Into a deeper rest state.
Yeah. So why no, I mean, from everything I know in terms of training Mustangs, of what I see, round pen, halter, some kind of carrot stick, something.
Right.
What's different here? How is it? What are you doing? Look at that beautiful releases.
Big yawns, lowering.
And not because he was chased around.
Right. Even having, if I'm focused on haltering him,
mm-hmm.
I haven't accomplished any of that.
Okay.
I'm still stuck. I'm stuck.
Right.
I'm getting the halter on him.
Okay. And what will that do to him in his...
My energy is so focused on the halter.
Uh-huh.
Nothing is focused on him.
Okay. And what's the difference with no halter?
Building truck, you don't need the halter. Halter and people, I've got to control this horse.
Right.
Got to wrap that halter on his head. I've got to get a rope around his,
Right.
And then, oh my gosh, I can't do it, so I'm going to throw a rope. And now I'm going to rope him. And then we're going to get in a big fight with him, and then you get the next, that needs realigned and everything. It's just, everything on our world and the human world is about control.
Uh-huh.
Government's control. Everything you turn on TV, it's all about who's got control and who doesn't. Who doesn't have control wants control.
Mm-hmm. Like, his head's totally shaken out.
Horses aren't concerned about control. They're concerned about the relationship and how they are interacting with other horses. They want to be
connection?
in a healthy, safe environment.
Okay.
He is in a very healthy, safe environment right now.
Okay.
Look at all the other horses. Bailey's is relaxed. Allecia is relaxed. Shasta, who's a sassy little girl. Well, here comes sassy girl.
But even still, even with that, he didn't even move. The babies are there. They're relaxed.
Shasta wanted the Khaleesi to move.
Mm-hmm.
She asked. She gave the little head toss.
But she didn't
and
listen.
Khaleesi didn't listen, so she went and pushed her off.
Mm-hmm. And it's almost like she's guarding Deets.
Our energy, when we want to halter a horse that isn't used to us,
yeah,
is that horse is going to pick up the same energy that Shasta projected onto a Khaleesi.
Interesting.
Unknowingly.
Yeah.
But we're coming at this horse, and our energy's asking the horse to move away from us.
Yep. I'm also just pulling in on him because he's doing some interesting releasing. His whole entire body looks different. He's much more full in his body. He's always been very skinny. Not skinny like he's not fed enough. He's just a very narrow horse.
And he's young.
He's young.
Got a lot of growing to do.
Yeah, but he looks like he filled out more just from this one session of being able to release his jaw.
His withers look fuller.
Yep, his butt looks bigger.
And his neck and head carriage is much more relaxed.
Yeah. Well, because if he was stuck, then he wasn't taking full breaths into his body, and even how he's eating. Yeah.
The two are almost mirroring each other.
Yeah.
And she's been here she's very comfortable in her body now.
Yeah.
Wasn't in the beginning, that's for sure.
No.
Bailey's had a halter put on her.
Yeah.
And that just shut her down for about 2 months.
I think it's amazing being able to start to understand like training from a very different perspective where it's not push training. And I'm not even talking about like you have to be negative, not negative. I'm just simply saying so much of training is a push at the horse to do something, and it doesn't fully really look at that head moving. He's just wow. He's working a lot of stuff out. And that's something too that because you gave him the time to work it out, and he said he wanted to work it out on his own, it makes him safer and feel more relaxed whenever saddle training should start. But if you don't know that he's stuck because you don't think, you think he moves great, no problem, he shouldn't be stuck. But what we're kind of finding too is Mustangs are very hardy, and they can handle a lot of stuff. I mean, they can be really out of alignment and still move really well. And to give that horse the benefit of the doubt before anyone ever, starts to work with him or push him around or call him stubborn or say he's a problem or he's an issue. He's not an issue. The issue is that humans didn't listen to him. They didn't give him the time and the space to let him work out what he needs to work out in his system.
Humans have been conditioned because of
other humans,
television, news media, governments, whatever. We have been conditioned to stop feeling.
Totally.
We're the ones that have become desensitized.
Right. When we're thinking,
we
not feeling.
need to become sensitive again.
Get down into our gut and into our body and out of our intellects.
And horses are very sensitive beings. They don't need to be
bullied.
Desensitized.
They don't need to be bullied.
They don't need to be flooded with crap.
Yeah.
They need to be... Okay, we live at a mile high. We have a whole lot less oxygen here than at sea level. You don't get desensitized to having less oxygen. You become acclimated to having less oxygen. We want these horses to become acclimated to the human world. It's just like if we go to another country that doesn't speak our language, we need to learn that language so we can better acclimate into that culture. It's the same here. I'm learning there, and every horse has a little bit different language. And I'm learning his, he's learning mine. We're building trust, we're building connection, all of that. And I want down the line, plastic bag comes through. I mean, we had some really loud traffic on the road.
Yeah.
Loud.
You didn't even
we had a
flinch.
drag race going on. We
Yeah.
had 3 trucks probably doing 80 miles an hour each, all with like little or no mufflers on them.
Yep.
Very loud, and a couple of Harley Davidsons.
Yep.
There's all kinds of racket going on the road. You know, plastic bag blowing through here. But it's the environment they're in. It's not being thrust at them.
Right. Pretty cool.
And when the horse becomes trusting of you, they'll look towards you. When something weird happens, they'll look at you going, am I okay? Are you okay? And you're like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
And even if there is a minor rodeo or a minor meltdown or whatever, things get back to
Quick.
center, gut center, heart center,
Yep.
quicker.
That's the woo way of Wild Mustangs.
He's an amazing guy.
She's even releasing a whole bunch of stuff just from having been in the proximity.
I'm literally
Awesome.
just gonna go check in with him and then walk out of the pen.
Cool.
So.
And the cool part too is that it's not, you know, if we talk about quantum entanglements, it's not just you working with Deets. Everybody that's around in this energy field is picking up that energy of peace and calm. Yeah. And it's so much easier because, especially like when you keep them away from other horses, we'll let all the other horses see how easy and natural this is and how respectful it is of their language.
Deets was picking up on work that Allecia and I did with Ecclese. And now he's like, wait a minute, I think I may want to be a part of that deal.
So we worked with her about a week and a half ago. Her body alignment was really, really out of whack. So I did a distance, you know, I was across the pen from her, but we did a distance body alignment to unwind her. But Deets was here, so he could feel, okay, well, whatever that thing is, you know, when I'm ready for it. And apparently he didn't even have to be ready for it, but it passed through him knowing that like he's safe.
And she's right there.
Yeah.
With the 2 babies.
Yeah.
But I came back here before I went off on that rabbit hole. When you approach a horse, you don't beeline to the horse.
Right.
When one horse goes head on to another horse, that horse is asking that horse to move out of the way.
Right.
Get out of my way. So you want to come at a 45 or 90, some sort of angle or parallel.
Show us.
So you're not. So I'm going to be kind of, instead of going straight towards his head, I'm going to be kind of aiming for the 2
babies. Okay. And notice too, as George moves, he's also checking in to see, okay, you know, you see Deets' ears coming forward right now. George is also checking in just to say, hey, is that too much? Can you handle this? Where are we at? Deet starts to get up a little bit. George backs off a little bit. It's really a respectful way of being able to be together so that we can synchronize and harmonize our energies. And that's really what we have found, both as being Qigong practitioners with the Wu Wei, right? It's the art of effortless doing. So it's not that you're not doing things and sitting on the couch eating bonbons. It's just the fact that your minimal efforts are producing maximum results. Because instead of trying to force anything, literally what you're doing, and especially what Qigong helps with, it harmonizes. You just start to follow the flow. And that's all that's happening here. George is just following the flow, paying attention to Deets to see what's, you know, where he's at and what he needs. But the goal is really not trying to move Deets' feet. The goal is really, can I harmonize with Deets' energy so he feels safe in my presence? So that when we do go to work together, he knows he can trust me. I think you get a lot more mileage out of that and keep the horse's soul and spirit intact. And a lot of the horses that come to this ranch have been really disrespectfully removed from their wild homes, and then working with trainers that don't always respect them. So they lose a sense of themselves. And when they come here, and this is really like a model program through Evanescent. This is gorgeous. Now look at Deets choosing to reach out. Now how long did that take? 30 minutes? 30 minutes. Between when we first started filming the other video and this video. And George says, cool, I get it. I'm glad you're in a good space. I'm going to walk away. And then what's going to start to happen is Deets is going to come forward more and trust, and he's actually going to seek out George. That's literally how the horses get worked with here. This is the Wu Wei, and this is also how the Evanescent Mustang Rescue and Sanctuary horses get rehabilitated here through this process.
And he did the one thing that I had said I hadn't seen. Lowering the head and the shaking of the neck.
Exactly.
I literally, all I wanted to do over there was just check in with them and say, hey,
yep,
how you doing? Are we good? Are you good? And now we're done.
Yeah.
That was just the little close instead of you accomplishing all of that.
So look at all that you accomplished in 30 minutes without even really having to force this horse to move his feet. Because now he's starting to get his essence back. Now he's starting to get his soul back from where it was taken when he was taken out of the wild. He's starting to restore himself. And I mean, there's no editing of this. So you guys are seeing this straight on in real time. Really, like, we didn't even set this up before we did it. I just started videoing. And this is actually really what's possible. But remember, the biggest thing is that both George working with a horse or me working with a horse, we know where we're at before we ever start working with those horses. And here's Miss Siri, who, again, she's never stayed around this long, deciding to just hang out and partake. So she's learning. She's choosing to be here with no force. I don't have to run her around. I don't have to make her crazy. But she's now just gotten half an hour of me being in the pen with her, and she's choosing to be here. So it's a much more natural way, this Wu Wei with Wild Mustangs, because it actually follows their natural language. So we invite you guys to keep watching. We invite you guys, we have a class on Mondays where the herd members come in, whoever chooses to come in, and we get different lessons. Sometimes it's a body work session, sometimes it's a lesson about a particular emotion or energy that is getting, they want to teach us something about how to get it unstuck. You know, sometimes it's about releasing our own poop or what's going on the planet. So we invite you guys to join us. But this is the essence, really, of the Wu Wei Mustangs, of Wild Mustangs. So thanks for watching. And you can see, you know, like I said, in real time, you can get a hell of a lot accomplished, because what's happening in Deets' body right now, and Bella is so cute. She's matching up with Deets, who's her buddy and her big brother. What happens is when you allow the horse, when you do that dance with the horse, and you allow that horse to release what it needs to release and reset its nervous system, you have a completely different being you get to work with. And isn't it easier to start from the get-go with working with a horse that feels safe and comfortable in their body and in their nervous system, rather than trying to make them override it because you can't see it and have, you know, fights or trouble. I don't think I've ever met a horse that was having trouble that didn't have a body issue. It's just a matter of If we can't align it, can we be respectful in the training to allow them to move through those challenges with ease? Doesn't have to be a fight. And I'm sure there's people out there that have met jerky horses, but I've actually never met a jerky horse. I've only met horses that are uncomfortable and that have been pushed in that
met
discomfort.
Horses that have been with jerks.
With that, I'm leaving. Thanks, guys, for watching the Wu Wei of Wild Mustangs.